Imagine for a moment the quiet of a night where the world sleeps and everything seems still. You have been praying, hoping, and waiting for a breakthrough, a shift, or an answer, and yet the days feel long, the nights feel heavy, and the answers seem distant. You begin to wonder if God has forgotten you, if your prayers are unheard, or if your efforts have been in vain. But let me assure you today, from the depths of your heart to the heights of heaven, that God has not forgotten you. Your waiting is not wasted, your silence is not ignored, and your patience is not in vain. Every moment, every tear, every unanswered question is part of a divine preparation, a sacred season that God Himself has orchestrated to bring you into a glorious future beyond anything you have imagined. Today we are going to explore a truth so powerful that it has the ability to shift your perspective, ignite your faith, and awaken hope in the deepest parts of your soul. We are going to discover how the long seasons of waiting, the moments when it felt like nothing was happening, and the times when life seemed paused are actually the very moments God has been using to position you for your next great victory. This is not just encouragement, this is revelation. This is a reminder that the same God who has brought you through the challenges, strengthened you in the silence, and shaped your character in the waiting is about to turn your long wait into a glorious season of breakthrough, favor, and divine acceleration. I want you to lean in, open your heart, and prepare your spirit, because the message you are about to hear is not just for today, it is for the season of your life that is about to change forever. The God who has been working silently behind the scenes is now ready to reveal His glory, restore the time you thought was lost, and multiply the blessings you have been longing for. By the end of this message, you will no longer see waiting as a delay, discouragement, or denial. You will see it as preparation, as divine refinement, and as the sacred stage before the glory that is coming to you. Stay with me as we uncover how every moment of your waiting has been intentional, how every delay has a purpose, and how your faithfulness in the silence will be rewarded in abundance. Today, God is about to speak to your heart, lift your spirit, and remind you that your long wait is about to transform into a season so glorious that it will surpass every expectation. Prepare to receive, prepare to believe, and prepare to see the fulfillment of promises that have been waiting just for you. Waiting is not weakness. It is one of the strongest places God can put a believer. Many see waiting as a pause, a setback, or a sign that nothing is happening, but in the kingdom of God, waiting is often the stage where the deepest and most transformative miracles occur. When God asks you to wait, He is not punishing you. He is preparing you. He is crafting something inside you that cannot be formed in moments of instant gratification. He is shaping your spirit, sharpening your discernment, strengthening your character, and building a foundation that can sustain the weight of the blessing He is about to release. Every moment you thought was wasted has actually been invested by the hands of a wise and loving Father who knows exactly what He is doing with your life. There are seasons when God hides you, seasons when He slows you down, and seasons when He allows certain doors to remain closed, not because you are unworthy, but because what is behind those doors requires a version of you that is still being refined. Waiting trains your heart to trust beyond what you can see. It takes your eyes off the clock and puts them on Christ. It stretches your faith beyond convenience into conviction. It is in these quiet intervals that God whispers truths that cannot be heard in the noise of constant movement. Waiting detoxes your soul from hurry, from fear, from self-reliance, and from the illusion that you must control everything to see progress. It is in waiting that God prunes what would hinder your growth and waters what will eventually bear abundant fruit. When you think of biblical heroes, none of them reached their destiny without passing through a season of waiting. Abraham waited decades for the promise. Joseph waited years in prison. David waited to sit on the throne after being anointed. Even Jesus waited in obscurity before stepping into public ministry. If waiting was necessary for them, it is not a sign of weakness for you. It means you are on the same path of divine preparation. It means heaven is investing in you. It means something glorious is being shaped in silence. While you are waiting, God is working. While you are praying, God is arranging. While you are trusting, God is positioning everything around you for the appointed time. In the waiting, God builds a strength that you don't even realize you are gaining. It's the strength to endure pressure without breaking, the strength to believe even when nothing changes, the strength to stand firm even when uncertainty tries to shake you. This strength becomes the very foundation of the next season God is bringing you into. Without waiting, you might step into the blessing too early and lose it because the character required to sustain it was not yet formed. Waiting is God's way of ensuring that when the blessing arrives, it does not overwhelm you, but instead flows through you with wisdom, gratitude, and maturity. Waiting is also the place where God teaches you to hear His voice with clarity. In the silence, distractions fade and dependence grows. You learn to lean into His presence, to trust His timing, and to surrender your plans for His perfect purpose. In the waiting, faith becomes more than a concept. It becomes your breath. Hope becomes more than a desire. It becomes your anchor. Love becomes more than a feeling. It becomes your identity. Waiting is not God withholding something from you. It is God shaping something within you so that when the door finally opens, you walk through it as someone transformed, strengthened, and prepared for the glory ahead. God uses waiting to purify your motives and deepen your trust in Him in ways that nothing else can. When we are in a season of delay, it is easy to become frustrated or question whether God has forgotten us. But these moments are not random or meaningless. Every pause, every unanswered prayer, every moment of silence is a deliberate act of divine instruction. God is not just teaching patience, He is teaching discernment. He is revealing whether our desires align with His will or if they are merely temporary impulses, shaped by human emotion or circumstance. The waiting seasons act as a refining fire, burning away selfish ambition, pride, and impatience, and leaving a heart that is pure, humble, and receptive to the blessings that God intends to release. When you desire something with all your heart, God wants to ensure that your motives are rooted in righteousness and that what you receive will glorify Him as much as it fulfills you. During these times, trust becomes more than a word. It becomes a lived experience. Every delay tests whether we truly believe that God's timing is perfect. It forces us to let go of control and surrender to His wisdom. This is a trust that is not based on sight or circumstance, but on a personal relationship with God, a confidence that He sees the beginning and the end, that He knows the number of steps before you reach your blessing, and that He orchestrates every detail with precision. The wait cultivates a dependence on God that cannot exist when life moves according to our own timing. In the quiet and in the patience required, God is teaching you to hear Him, to rely on Him, and to recognize that your fulfillment is not about speed but about alignment with His divine plan. Furthermore, waiting is the time when God strengthens your spiritual sensitivity. In moments of immediate fulfillment, it is easy to be distracted by the gift rather than grateful for the giver. But in waiting, the heart learns to listen, to discern, and to walk closely with God. Your prayers become more than a list of requests. They become conversations that shape your character, that reveal your innermost desires, and that cultivate your faith. The longer the wait, the more you are shaped to receive, not just the blessing but the wisdom to steward it well. God wants your heart to be ready to embrace the fullness of what He has promised, without being burdened by impatience, selfishness, or anxiety. This process also serves to test and refine your obedience. While you wait, God observes how you respond to delay. Do you grumble, question, or give up? Or do you remain faithful, trusting, and expectant? Every act of obedience in the waiting season builds spiritual maturity and integrity. It prepares you to step into your glorious season with a heart that is aligned with God's purposes. God wants to ensure that when He answers your prayers, it is not just a fleeting blessing but a transformative one that impacts your life, your family, and your community. Your faith becomes stronger, your patience becomes deeper, and your trust becomes unshakable. Ultimately, God uses waiting to align your heart with His perfect will. He removes what is unnecessary, clarifies what is essential, and positions you to walk into your blessing with a heart fully surrendered. The season of waiting is not a punishment or a pause in God's plan. It is an active, intentional period of preparation. It is the divine classroom where motives are purified, trust is deepened, and faith is strengthened, so that when the moment of fulfillment arrives, you are ready to receive it in a manner that honors God and reflects His glory in every aspect of your life. Delays are not denials, they are divine rearrangements designed by God to position you for the fullness of His plan. Too often, when we experience a delay or a season of waiting, we interpret it as rejection or failure. But in the eyes of God, nothing is wasted. Every moment, every closed door, every unanswered question is part of His meticulous orchestration. God sees beyond what we see. He understands the intricate timing and the unseen forces that shape our lives. A delay does not mean that your dreams will never manifest. It means that God is moving elements into place, shifting circumstances, aligning opportunities, and preparing people and resources to ensure that when the promise comes to fruition, it will be perfect, complete, and unstoppable. In our human perspective, a delay feels like a loss of control, a period of frustration, or a moment of uncertainty. We want instant answers, immediate results, and visible progress. Yet God's ways are higher than ours, and His timing is flawless. What seems like a setback is often a setup for something far greater than we could have imagined. While we are focused on what we think is missing, God is working behind the scenes, correcting paths, removing obstacles, and creating openings that are invisible to our eyes. Divine rearrangement is His way of ensuring that the blessing is not only received, but sustained, that it is not wasted, and that it produces the intended fruit in the right season. Every delay is a test of your faith and your patience. It measures whether you are willing to trust God even when the outcome is unclear, and whether you are willing to remain faithful even when everything seems stagnant. In this waiting, God evaluates your resilience, your perseverance, and your willingness to rely fully on Him. He is not just interested in granting the blessing, He is shaping you to be the person capable of carrying the blessing in a manner that glorifies Him and impacts others positively. Delays teach humility, they teach dependence, and they teach endurance. They reveal what is truly in your heart and allow God to mold your desires into alignment with His perfect plan. Divine rearrangement also often involves protection. God may delay your breakthrough to shield you from premature exposure to situations that could harm you, to keep you away from relationships that are not yet right, or to prevent opportunities that could lead to compromise. What we perceive as a denial is often a shelter, a protective hand guiding us away from what is not yet suitable, ensuring that when we step into the next season, it is safe, secure, and fully aligned with His purposes. God's timing is never late, it is always intentional. His delays are not mistakes, but acts of wisdom, love, and foresight. When you understand that delays are divine rearrangements, your perspective shifts. You no longer see waiting as punishment or misfortune, you begin to see it as preparation, protection, and positioning. You learn to cooperate with God's timing, to embrace patience as a spiritual discipline, and to remain expectant even in silence. Every closed door becomes a signal of God redirecting you, every postponed answer becomes a lesson in faith, and every period of waiting becomes a sacred opportunity for growth. By trusting God in the delays, you align yourself with His greater plan, you strengthen your faith, and you position yourself to receive your promises in fullness and with glory, knowing that what He is preparing is far beyond what you could have imagined or orchestrated on your own. God is closer in the waiting than in the breakthrough, and this truth is one of the most profound realities for every believer. It is easy to imagine that God's presence is most felt when blessings arrive, when doors open, and when prayers are visibly answered. Yet the Scriptures reveal a different pattern. It is often in the silent, unseen, and uncomfortable seasons that God draws nearest to His children. When everything seems delayed, when hope feels distant, And when the outcome is uncertain, God steps closer, not to punish, but to prepare, comfort, and teach. In the waiting, distractions fade, the noise of the world diminishes, and the heart becomes sensitive to His voice. In these moments, dependence on God shifts from a concept to a lifeline, and intimacy with Him deepens beyond what is possible in moments of ease and instant gratification. During waiting periods, we are often stripped of self-reliance. When the blessing is not yet visible, our strategies, plans, and human resources appear insufficient. It is in this insufficiency that we learn to lean on God completely. Our prayers take on new depth, our faith becomes active, and our hope is refined into endurance. God's closeness in waiting allows us to experience His faithfulness in small, often unnoticed ways. Through provision in scarcity, guidance in confusion, comfort in loneliness, and clarity in uncertainty. The very act of waiting teaches us that the breakthrough is not just about receiving a gift, but about the transformation of the heart to recognize God's hand in every circumstance. The waiting season also becomes a mirror, reflecting our true spiritual posture. When progress stalls and answers are delayed, God uses this time to examine the desires, motives, and priorities of our hearts. We discover whether our faith is rooted in the blessings themselves or in the one who gives them. God's presence becomes palpable as we learn to surrender control, to trust Him for unseen outcomes, and to walk faithfully without visible confirmation. This is when character is forged, patience is perfected, and spiritual discernment is sharpened. The quiet of waiting becomes a sacred space where the believer learns to navigate life with eyes fixed on God rather than circumstances. In waiting, God often provides unseen guidance and subtle interventions that prepare the ground for the breakthrough. He orchestrates relationships, opens doors that were previously invisible, and positions circumstances in alignment with His perfect plan. If we rushed past the waiting, we might miss critical lessons, growth opportunities, or protective measures He has put in place. God's closeness ensures that even when the journey feels long or arduous, we are never truly alone. He speaks through His word, through prayer, through the counsel of godly mentors, and through the gentle nudges of the Spirit. This constant nearness forms a foundation of trust that remains even after the breakthrough arrives. The breakthrough itself is often accompanied by a sense of surprise and awe, but the waiting season teaches us to recognize God's hand even before the visible manifestation. We learn to celebrate small victories, to acknowledge His provision, and to rejoice in His constant presence. The closeness of God in waiting builds a relational depth that sustains us through future trials, ensuring that when the glorious season arrives, we are not overwhelmed by circumstances, but are empowered to steward it with wisdom, humility, and gratitude. In truth, the waiting is not a pause from God, it is a deliberate, intimate season of His presence that strengthens faith, builds resilience, and prepares the heart to fully embrace the glory He is about to reveal. Your long wait has built a strength you will soon need for your next season, and this is a truth that transforms the perspective of every believer who feels discouraged or impatient. While waiting can feel exhausting, frustrating, or even discouraging, it is in this very season that God quietly forms resilience, perseverance, and spiritual maturity. The challenges, delays, and moments of uncertainty are not empty. They are God's tools for shaping you into someone capable of handling the fullness of the blessing He has prepared. Strength is rarely developed in comfort. It is forged in the pressure, in the silence, in the moments when everything seems delayed, and nothing seems to move according to our expectations. God does not waste time, and He does not allow seasons of waiting without purpose. Each day, each trial, each unanswered question is equipping you for the assignment that lies ahead. Endurance is one of the most important forms of strength, being cultivated during waiting. The ability to remain steadfast when outcomes are unclear, when resources are limited, and when circumstances seem unfavorable is a spiritual muscle that will serve you in ways nothing else can. God is teaching you to rise above discouragement, to keep walking by faith even when the path is invisible, and to maintain hope when the natural world says to give up. This endurance will carry you through not only the arrival of your blessing, but also through the responsibilities, decisions, and challenges that will accompany it. Many blessings fail to achieve their intended impact because the recipient is unprepared for the intensity, responsibility, or pressure that comes with it. Your waiting season has been building a foundation that will sustain you through every aspect of your next chapter. Resilience is another form of strength being formed in the wait. Life may have thrown disappointments, delays, or even betrayals your way, but these experiences are molding a spirit that refuses to be defeated, that continues to trust God, and that holds on to faith even in the darkest moments. Resilience allows you to recover quickly from setbacks, to maintain perspective in challenging times, and to remain focused on God's promises rather than the temporary difficulties. Without resilience, even the most beautiful blessing could be overshadowed by fear, doubt, or mismanagement. God uses waiting to teach you to recover, to persevere, and to rise stronger each time life presses against you. Patience is another essential strength that is developed in the waiting period. It is not simply about delaying gratification, it's about learning to align your timing with God's timing, to trust His schedule over your own, and to understand that His plans are perfect and complete. Patience transforms your perspective so that you do not measure success by speed, but by faithfulness. The strength of patience allows you to navigate future seasons with grace, to handle delay without discouragement, and to respond to challenges with wisdom rather than impulsivity. Patience ensures that when the glorious season arrives, you will be ready to steward it responsibly and effectively. Spiritual sensitivity and discernment are also strengthened in the waiting. When life slows down, distractions fade, and you are forced to rely on God's guidance rather than your own understanding, you begin to recognize His voice more clearly. You learn to distinguish between temporary desires and divine directions, between superficial opportunities and true blessings, and between worldly solutions and God's supernatural provision. This spiritual acuity will be essential for navigating your next season, allowing you to walk with confidence and wisdom in the opportunities God will place before you. Ultimately, the strength built in your long wait is intentional, purposeful, and divine. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of uncertainty has been forming endurance, resilience, patience, and spiritual discernment. God is equipping you so that when your glorious season arrives, you do not simply step into it. You walk into it with power, preparation, and faithfulness. The strength cultivated in waiting is what will allow you to embrace your next season fully, to steward the blessings responsibly, and to fulfill the destiny God has been preparing for you all along. The same God who allowed the wait will redeem the time, and this is one of the most powerful truths for anyone who has endured a long season of delay, uncertainty, or silence. God's timing is perfect, and He is never late. What may feel like prolonged waiting is never wasted time. Every moment, every trial, and every pause is part of His divine orchestration, designed to prepare, position, and elevate you for a glorious season ahead. Redemption of time does not mean simply receiving what was delayed. It means that God will restore, multiply, accelerate, and transform the waiting into a harvest far greater than anything you imagined. The days of delay will be compensated with experiences, blessings, and breakthroughs that carry the imprint of God's power and wisdom. When God moves to redeem your time, the waiting season becomes a testimony of His faithfulness, His sovereignty, and His limitless love. In the redemption of time, God brings acceleration. Years that felt lost, moments that felt stagnant, and seasons that felt unproductive suddenly become compressed into swift progress. Opportunities, answers, and blessings arrive with such intensity that it seems as though God is making up for every moment of waiting. The work you thought was delayed, the prayers you thought were unanswered, and the doors you thought were closed will now open simultaneously, revealing God's perfect design and timing. What you endured in silence will now serve as a platform for rapid advancement, a testimony that demonstrates God's power to turn delay into destiny. The waiting was never a pause in his plan. It was a preparation for a remarkable acceleration that aligns with his glory and purpose for your life. Multiplication is another aspect of God redeeming your time. What was once scarce, opportunities, favor, resources, relationships, or breakthroughs, will now be multiplied. God has a way of taking the seeds of your patience, your prayers, and your endurance, and producing an abundant harvest. Every effort, every tear, every prayer, and every act of faith invested during the waiting period becomes fertile ground for exponential blessings. The compensation for waiting is not just a return to the previous state. It is an overflow, a multiplication of what has been sown in faith. This multiplication is often beyond human expectation, revealing that God's ways are higher than ours and his plans are infinitely greater than we can imagine. Redemption of time also restores what may have been lost in the waiting. Friendships, relationships, opportunities, and dreams that seemed abandoned or delayed are brought back into alignment with God's perfect timing. What was once fragmented or incomplete is now completed in a way that reflects God's wisdom and precision. Nothing is wasted. Everything that was part of your journey, including the trials and delays, is woven into a larger tapestry of purpose and glory. The restoration is complete, transforming past disappointment into present celebration and future hope. God's redemption of time also serves to elevate you. The lessons learned, the strength gained, and the endurance built during the waiting season position you to walk into your next chapter with confidence, wisdom, and authority. You are no longer the same person who began the journey. You are refined, prepared, and equipped to handle the glory, responsibility, and influence that come with the fulfillment of his promises. The waiting was necessary to prepare the vessel, and now the blessing is prepared to overflow through a vessel that is ready, resilient, and faithful. Ultimately, God's redemption of your waiting is a demonstration of his perfect love, faithfulness, and sovereignty. The same God who allowed the delay is the one orchestrating the breakthrough, ensuring that every moment of waiting will serve a greater purpose. Your long season of patience, perseverance, and faith is not wasted. It is transformed into a testimony, a harvest, and a glorious season that bears the evidence of God's power, timing, and divine intention. Every tear, every prayer, every sigh, and every act of trust is about to be redeemed in abundance, revealing that God's promises are true, his timing is perfect, and his glory is about to shine in your life in ways you never imagined. As we draw this message to a close, let us reflect on the profound truth that God is not unaware of our waiting, our longing, or our prayers. Every season we endure, every moment of delay, and every unanswered question has a purpose in the hands of our Almighty Father. He is not idle. He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events, shaping hearts, and preparing us for a glorious season that is far beyond anything we could imagine. What we have endured in silence is not meaningless. It has been a time of preparation, purification, and positioning. God has been strengthening us, refining our character, testing our faith, and aligning our desires with his perfect will. The long wait we have experienced is not a sign of abandonment or neglect. It is a testament to God's wisdom and his understanding of what we truly need, not just what we think we want. Throughout this journey of waiting, we have learned that delays are not denials, they are divine rearrangements. God uses these periods to redirect our paths, to protect us from what we are not ready for, and to ensure that the blessings he sends will be received in fullness. The waiting seasons are designed to teach endurance, resilience, and patience. They are classrooms for faith, where every prayer, every act of obedience, and every moment of trust is recorded and rewarded. In the quiet, we have learned to lean more deeply into God's presence, to listen for his voice, and to trust in his timing rather than our own. This process of trust deepens our relationship with him and prepares our hearts to receive what he has promised in a way that honors him and glorifies his name. We have also seen that the very same God who allowed the wait is the one who will redeem the time. He will restore what was delayed, multiply what was scarce, and accelerate the fulfillment of His promises in ways that surpass human expectation. The years of waiting, the moments of doubt, and the challenges we have faced are about to be transformed into testimony, joy, and victory. God's timing is perfect, His plans are flawless, and His love for us is unchanging. The long seasons of silence and struggle are not permanent. They are temporary preparations for a glorious outpouring of blessings, opportunities, and breakthroughs. The strength, wisdom, and faith we have gained during the waiting are exactly what we need to steward this new season with grace, discernment, and humility. As I conclude this message, I want to remind each of you that your wait is not in vain, your prayers are not unheard, and your faithfulness will not go unrewarded. God is about to turn your long wait into a glorious season. The blessings, the favor, and the opportunities that seem distant are approaching with divine precision. Stand firm in faith, keep trusting, and continue walking in obedience, knowing that God's promises are true, His timing is perfect, and His glory is about to shine in your life. Thank you for taking the time to receive this message. I pray that it strengthens your faith, renews your hope, and encourages your spirit. May you leave today with confidence, knowing that the God who has brought you this far is the same God who will bring your season of waiting to a glorious fulfillment. May His peace, His presence, and His power go with you, and may you experience the joy of seeing every promise fulfilled in your life. Thank you, and may God bless you abundantly.